What is the correct ratio of service advisors to technicians for your auto repair shop? I'm Rachael Evans. I'm the CEO and founder at the Workshop Whisperer, where we have been helping auto repair shop owners just like you to achieve business success since 2014. Today is day 17 of our 30 days of our Shop Talk 30-day reset for auto repair shop owners. And in Australia, December 27 is the date. And I'm sharing with you today a really common question that we get, whether it's in our free Facebook group, which is called Your Profitable Auto Repair Shop, or in our client groups. We often get emails from people on our email database quizzing as to how many service advisors should you have compared with technicians. And there is an actual benchmark for this. And when your ratio is out of whack, as we would say here in Australia, it can actually have some very negative impacts on your cash flow. And the answer is really simple. I have been sharing this benchmark right from the get-go because it's one of the easy ones to get right, and I'm happy to share. So you should have one service advisor for a maximum of 3.5 technicians. So once we have a service advisor looking after more than 3.5 technicians, our service advisors can start to make mistakes. Things can be left off invoices. Customers can go without the vital contact that is needed to ensure good customer service. And we can find that opportunities were never put to customers in the first place that would have seen a higher repair order closed. So another way to think about this ratio is that the cracks will open up and money will slip through. The cracks will open up and your service advisor will burn out. The cracks will open up and your technicians will get frustrated that the service advisor isn't able to provide them with go-ahead for the additional work they've identified because the service advisor hasn't gotten to calling them yet. Phone calls end up going unanswered in the shop because the service advisor is so rushed off their feet. A way to tell if your service advisor is able to handle the load, though, is if your service advisor is rushed off their feet or appears to be, or is making any of these errors, and they're only looking after 2 technicians. You would have to dig deeper into where the workload issue is coming from if they believe that's too many. Sometimes you've got a service advisor doing a hybrid role that is part heavy. Maybe you retail parts as well, and the service advisor gets caught up there and it makes it difficult for them to give their full attention to the technicians and the vehicles. So you just have to be careful of what your dynamic is. But the other thing to be mindful of is that if you've got yourself, perhaps the technician owner, or yourself as the significant other of the technician owner, and you're both drawing a wage, but neither is on the tools, then you've got your service advisor, and the ratio between the service advisor and the technicians is correct. But by adding in the 2 of you who aren't selling hours, you are technically top heavy at the non-productive team member end. In our auto repair shops, we've got 2 categories of worker: productive team member and non-productive. That is not a derogatory term in any sense if your position falls in the non-productive side. It simply means one side sells hours, actually physically does the labor to get the hours sold. So that's your technicians. And the other side don't physically do the labor to sell those hours. So that's service advisors, parts interpreters, bookkeepers, admin people on site, the owner, if they're no longer on the tools, and potentially significant other of the owner also involved in the business. So you can have too many salaries in the office, so to speak, and they far outweigh the workshop floor team's ability to sell enough in order to cover everything with a good profit left over. So we always have to be very careful that we're not ignoring sort of those, they can often be hidden wages outside of that technician to service advisor ratio. So there's one for you to go and have a look at. If you're currently running with two service advisors and you've got four technicians, if you're trying to hire for another technician because you've got more hours to sell, and you're not currently filling that position, your second service advisor probably has surplus time on their hands. But if your plan is to fill another technician position, then, you'd want that second service advisor to be there for when that happens. But you have to be very mindful of how long you carry that second service advisor for. But if you've got two service advisors and you've only got four technicians and that's how you plan to keep it, then that second service advisor should only be fractional. So maybe you have them part-time. If there's no additional hybrid tasks in their position description, if they are just straight service advisors, that second one would definitely need to be fractional. Of course, as I mentioned, sometimes they're doing parts interpreting on a larger scale, they're selling retail, whatever it might be. But it's a really good benchmark for you to have a look at, see if you're top heavy or you don't have enough support for your service advisor. They're looking after more than 3.5 technicians and things are starting to fall apart. That's why, because the ideal ratio is one service advisor to 3.5 technicians. Okay, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, like this video so it goes far and wide, and I look forward to being back here with you tomorrow on day 18 of Shop Talk.